One of the first videos I made was about what I grandly refer to as the Origin watch, but I'm absolutely convinced that we all have one of these. It doesn't matter what the make or model is, or indeed whether you actually owned it, but the watch that put everything in motion and made you into the watch admirer that you are today. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Phil. I'm the ordinary watch guy. I'm an ordinary guy, but the watches are always special. I think there's a watch that sparked it all for us. This week in Phil's ongoing attempts to get cancelled. I don't care what anyone says. I know it's a great watch, but I don't think it was a Tudor Black Bay for anyone. Where's the romance? Where's the romance in a Tudor Black Bay? A Tudor Black Bay is the partner you should marry versus the partner you shouldn't bring home to your mother. A Tudor Black Bay is basically the guy that every father hopes their daughter will bring home, but instead they bring home a Chopard Miller, which is just a bit too flash to be trustworthy. Tudor Black Bay. Anyway, whatever watch first caught your eye or first provoked that profound spark that ultimately led you to this ruinous, terrible addiction that we call the horror of horology, well, that's your Origin watch. As I explained before in my previous video, the watch that I'm referring to, this watch was gifted to my dad by my grandmother when he turned 21. Hello, Bessie. When he turned 21. And while I didn't know about it until long after my grandmother had very sadly passed away, I know now that it turned my dad into something of a watch guy. And in turn, he gifted me a watch when I turned 18, and so the dominoes fell. And here I am. My dad is turning 75 this month, and in an untypically thoughtful and well-prepared way, I scooped up this particular Omega Chronostop that he was gifted. Dad had kept it as a hugely sentimental piece, but in a state of disrepair. The minutes hand was loose and the whole watch urgently needed servicing. I told you about the watchmaker that I used to have the watch repaired and serviced, and I was delighted with the quality of work that's been done. I didn't get it polished. There are years of family history imprinted on that watch case. Scratches from before I was born, as my dad wore that watch when he moved to Germany, meeting my mum, and then to Canada, marrying in Toronto, wearing the watch, before returning to the UK in the mid-1970s. The missing piece of this restoration was a new strap. The watch was on the original Milanese bracelet, but that's now 53 years old. Obviously, I have kept the bracelet and it is stored safely, but I want to get the watch back on my dad's wrist again. So I headed to Etsy to see if I could get a nice leather strap made that I thought he would love. For the extra touch of class, I put a stainless steel butterfly clasp onto the watch. As you can see from the footage, I've gone for colours that work with the Chronostop, and while I was contemplating something that threw the orange of the bold second hand into the mix, I was also worried that this would put my dad off and it wouldn't really be to his tastes. And I've gone with a very dark grey lizard skin outer strap with inlays from a Stingray that are trying to accentuate the pattern of the seconds track of the dial. That inlay on the strap is also used as the material for the pieces that hold the tail end of the strap in place. I don't know what those bits are actually called. They must have a name. If you know, please put it in the comments below. That'll help me. The underside of the strap is a warm beige calf leather, which is softer and more comfortable for the wearer, a little bit more supple. The whole strap, despite being brand new, is reasonably supple and flexible, and I actually hope that paradoxically it will also be hard wearing too. The whole watch is now back in wearable condition, keeping good time, and it's ready to go once again. For those not familiar with the Chronostop, it's a simplified chronograph made by Omega with a single pusher to activate it. It's a self-wound watch, no automatic movement within it at all, and I imagine that you've probably got to wind it daily. Chronostop was an entry-level piece in the Omega range in the mid to late 1960s, going into the early 1970s. It was a young man's watch of the day, and the proportions reflect the sizing of the era. Omega was incredibly popular at the time, possibly the apex watch of the time, hot off the success of the moon landings, and immediately prior to the impending quartz crisis that everybody at that particular moment was entirely oblivious to. This was time measurement technology where digital watches and quartz accuracy was not around. And I think that's hard for us to imagine these days, when largely we know and accept that digital accuracy is always cheaply available. But these beautiful mechanical pieces still capture our attention regardless. I know that my dad is going to be quite moved by this gift, but there's a kicker too. Now, I plan to give this to my dad at the end of next week, and you'll get to see his reaction. It's his 75th birthday, but if I rewind 27 years to 1997, on my birthday, he gave me my first watch on my 18th birthday, a Tag Heuer 4000 automatic. When I opened the box in absolute anticipation and got through the layer after layer of packaging, inside he placed a very plastic Mickey Mouse quartz watch, just to see the dismay and disappointment on my face, and he howled with laughter at me. So this time, having bought all of the Omega packaging and repackaged the watch, I'm going to place a Mickey Mouse watch inside for him to unwrap first. Thank you for watching. I'll be showing you the reaction in a week or so. It should be a really great one. So if you're not yet subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that reaction. I promise you it's going to be worth it. To me, these kind of moments are where the magic of watches really lives. It's not about the flex culture. It's not about the hype watches. It's not about the values or the money or the market. There is joy and emotion in the watches that we choose, and the watches that sometimes choose us and come into our lives. I think by nature, watch collectors and admirers are sentimental types. We keep a technology and beauty of what should be an obsolete technology alive, and we pass it down through our family. I hope it stays alive for a very long time. It really doesn't matter if your dad's watch is a Patek or a Timex. There really is something about the watch that your dad wore, or that your mum bought, or that came from a grandparent. And you know that watch is utterly irreplaceable and completely priceless. Drop me a comment about your first watch, your origin watch, and your experiences. I'm sure that we've got some amazing stories to share. In the meanwhile, I'll see you in the next video. On Wednesday, I will be in Milan with my niece Evelyn, who is going to be my director for my first proper report from the field. And I'm going to try and actually do a video out there instead of just capturing footage and voicing it over when I get home. I don't know. Maybe I'll bottle it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do it the way that I did with the Paris video. But I hope it will be every bit as enjoyable as my previous video from Paris. Stay safe, and don't forget to give me a like if you do enjoy the video. Leave your comments, and please subscribe if you'd like to support the development of the channel. See you guys later.